Welcome to Vibrant Numerals, where we explore and discuss the vibrations of our universe and how we can apply them to our everyday life. I'm Elizabeth, and this video is going to be talking about Chiron Retrograde in Aries that just began and this retrograde season. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and share. So, we just had Chiron go into retrograde, and I think we'll go, yeah, let's go here. So Chiron retrograde, Chiron is, I guess it's called a minor planet or an asteroid, um but we all have it in our astrological natal chart, and it's known as the wounded healer. So this is what our greatest wound is, but it's also where we are able to bring healing um, into the world, but also heal others. So it's kind of like um, when you're able to take your life experiences and help others to not, it's either not go through them or to know how to heal from them. So this is where we have a lot of the times where we get together in groups to be able to work together on some of this wounded healing that needs to happen. Chiron itself has some interesting numerology because Chiron um, has the numerical vibration of 67, where 67 is taking action and flow. So it's that perfect combination of masculine and feminine. It's taking the right action, but at the right time and in the right way. That's that flow that leads to a comfort zone. So when we're truly comfortable, that's where we are getting this healing. So it's taking the actions necessary, but in the vibration that's provided to us so that we can get to a place of comfort and healing. This adds up then to 13, which is the largest kind of transformation you can make. This is like death and rebirth kind of transformation. This is where you are able to become a new version of yourself, is with this kind of transformation. It comes from growth and allowing new energy, even if that energy is in the form of a new identity for yourself, to be able to come into your life. And it comes, all of this happens. So this growth and then coming in of the new energy starts with taking that action and flow to be able to get to that comfortable place so that you can heal. Then as you're healing, now you're able to come in and grow into this new person that you are meant to become. This 13 then gets us to the 4, where the 4 is all about foundation. It's creating and generating a brand new foundation for yourself through this healing. So Chiron is actually really important. We actually see some pivotal moments in life when Chiron is an aspect to our natal Chiron and also to other planets. So one big one is the Chiron return, when Chiron is in the exact location of when you were born. This usually happens around 50 years old. And except if it's like a country or a culture or a group of people, then it's like every 50 years is when you get this Chiron return. But it's the establishment of a new foundation is what we're getting here. What's interesting also is that 67 is also the numerical vibration for the word water. And so we have seen water is used in a lot of healing rituals. It is also used, like when you actually get a physical wound, water is used, or something like alcohol that is hot, mostly water, is used in cleaning the wound to begin the healing process. We also have seen here recently in particular that water is coming up quite often as an attention getter. It's a strong vibration right now. And I really do think that when this is happening, it's drawing our attention to the Chiron. Also, 67 is the numerical vibration of the word soul. And so our soul moves just like water. It's in our soul, and who we're meant to be at our core is directly related to the wounds that we carry and how we heal those wounds. So directly related to Chiron. So Chiron is a really important part of us and our natal chart that we need to be aware of and we need to utilize. The other thing is that, and I think what we'll do is let's go here. And so we have Chiron, we know is 67. And retrograde is happening right now. And it's retrograde season. Chiron has just recently gone into retrograde, I believe on July 29th, and I'm making this video on the 2nd of August, so just a little while ago. It'll stay in retrograde, I believe, until February 2026. So it stays in retrograde quite often, or long. Chiron is one that has a pretty long retrograde. But whenever we have a retrograde, we have to focus on this and part of that is because this is letting us know that we need to review, like redo, remember any of these words that have this re on it. That's the time that you're doing this, because this is the energy of Chiron that's turning inward. So this is a time where we previously may have been seeing our wounds outward, where like we're getting triggered because somebody is doing or saying something that's reminding us of our wound, or how we've been wounded, or how we have wounded others. But now we are going to see more of that internally, and we need to focus on it internally. So right now is a time where the recognition of Chiron needs to be inward. Also, the healing of those wounds of Chiron need to be inward as well. Also, this re is the numerical vibration 23, which is the same as I am. So it's coming back to that identity and how this wound is part of it. So that's part of what we need to be reviewing and also remembering, is what this wound, healing the wound is not just forgetting it. That's not healing it. We need to remember what this wound is, and we need to begin to review it so that we can heal it. This has to do with the wounds that we have within ourselves, but also the wounding that we have done to others. So making sure that we're taking accountability for the wounds we've created. Retrograde, this actually is one of these angel numbers. It resonates at 333 or 111, which goes to 3. So when it's retrograde, when we're using that word, we have a lot of new energy that's coming in. We have a lot of energy that is coming into our personal space for us to be able to use. And in this case, it's Chiron retrograde. So it's coming into our space for us to be able to use in the healing of our wounds. And by using that energy in a way that is for our greatest good, we are able to get to growth, which is this 3. So then, lastly, if we take the 111 plus the 67, we get 178, which takes us to 16.7. And we have seen this 16.7 quite often. So 178 is actually resonating very similar, because this 1 and the 7 can come together to be an 8. So it's resonating very similar to 88, which we have seen in earthquakes, and it's being used quite often. But this is that energy of karma. So this 8 energy, this infinitely cycling energy, these routines, this and a lot of the times that's where these wounds are made, are in these infinitely cycling energies. But this is also what comes out of the wound. So as we begin to review and remember this wound, what can open up and come out is some of this karmic energy, some of this infinitely cycling energy. We can be reminded of some bad routines, some bad cycles. Also, like generational curses come out of this wound and are at 8 energy, because it's repeated through the generations, ancestral energy. And it's not all negative things, because generational energy from our ancestors come in as this 8 as well, and can be used for many a thing. We have to remember, though, that this 16 is requiring us to make change before a tower moment happens. So it's alerting us to needing to make changes so that the universe doesn't have to make them for us, or that the universe is going to make these changes. And so we can either take action in flow, this 7, and actually be moving with the change of the universe, or we can be caught off guard and have this change impact us greatly. So that's about that. And I wanted to look at, I wanted to look at these charts just because I think it's important. So this chart is for July 30th, 2025. For any of those of you that are not in the United States, this date would be written 3/7. So just so nobody's confused. But then this is August 1st. And I just wanted us, I thought it was important for us to look at what were some of the differences that were happening here, because we have some interesting aspects that are happening. So first of all, let's find Chiron. Chiron is over here in Aries, and you can see it's right on this line. So it's very close to moving into Taurus. But what we also have in Aries right now at this time is Saturn and Neptune are right here. They are at the beginning of Aries. They've just recently moved in. And Aries is represented by the phrase I am. And Saturn, Neptune, and Chiron now are all in retrograde. So this I am energy and examining of the internal is extremely heightened right now. So this is a time where if you can't ignore the need to recognize and heal the wounds. We also have some other planets that are in retrograde because we are in retrograde season where the majority of planets are in retrograde right now. But we'll talk about those in just a second. What I wanted to show you was this planetary formation that's beginning to happen. We see it here where it kind of looks like a kite. And you could see here in August where it's becoming more pronounced. This is a really important set of aspects that will come direct, super strong in the next few days. So today is August 2nd for me. But this is going to come in very fully, I believe, August 8th and 9th. But why it's important here in this conversation is because where these are pointing, in particular this end, is going to heighten that energy even more. And so what is getting heightened is this Saturn and Neptune that are in Aries, that are retrograde, but they're in Aries right here with Chiron. So as these planets are getting heightened, Chiron is also going to get heightened in that Aries energy. And so we need to be very much aware that this is happening. The other piece is for any of those of you that are living in the United States or interact with the United States in any way, the United States has Chiron in Aries. So it's a big, huge display of the wounds of Chiron in the United States, and it has been for the last few years. This is going to be heightened at this time. In addition, for all my hip hop heads, hopefully you've made it to this part of the video, but hip hop actually also has Chiron in Aries. So this means we could see some wounds being displayed, like we've already been seeing it over the last few years in particular, but some wounds of hip hop or wounds that hip hop has caused are going to be even more on display, and they're going to be turned inward. So you're going to see them and you're going to have to recognize them, and hip hop's going to have to heal them. Just like the United States is going to have to heal them. But it's important to be aware that this is happening. So I will just end on letting you see this whole little chart here of what retrogrades are happening, how long they will be happening, and kind of what what's related to them. I was trying to see. There we go. Make it bigger. So if you want to take a picture of this, you're welcome to. But Chiron is in the midst of this retrograde season. So it just came into retrograde on July 30th, but we've already had Venus has already gone in and come out of retrograde. Currently, as of today, we are in Mercury retrograde. This current Mercury retrograde will end August, I think it's August 11th. So we're getting this Chiron retrograde at the same time here. Right before this, Saturn went into retrograde, Neptune went into retrograde, and Pluto is currently in retrograde. So we have several of these retrogrades that are all turning that energy in internally and giving us different things that we need to be looking at. And if we are doing this healing, it's actually bolstering the amount of energy that we have to be able to use to manifest and to create the lives that we want. So very important to be aware of this. So thank you for being here. Hopefully, this information was helpful. And make sure you like, subscribe, and share, and hit the notification bell so you can get my next recording. Bye.